talk with the dance team, cheer team. That was one of your suggestions that you had to kind of add in a little bit more school spirit, Coach. But first and foremost, how are you? How are things been going?
Oh, good. It's been a really hot week. We've been in and out of the gym, so hopefully we can finish the week outside. That would be a real help for practice.
Absolutely. And for those of the people who are out here and maybe they're over and they didn't know that they were going to be a part of the Coaches Show experience over at the Duck Pin Bowling, we want to say hello to you. You're now a part of the experience here at the Isaac Shelby Coaches Show. Again, we want to thank Varsity Pins, one of our sponsors here, for everything that they're letting us use the bus here. We get to be on this really cool bus, which is super awesome. Of course, Sheepdog Custom Ink, Coach Stephen Conway. He's been at every show, too. We got to give him a shout-out for that as well. So not only is he here as a sponsor, but he's here every week. We also want to thank Wyatt Johnson Hyundai. I got it right this time.
Yes.
I was told to correct myself, which I did. Want to thank them as well for their sponsorship, for everything that we're doing. And then, of course, just everything. I think that's all the sponsors we have right now that are a part of the show.
Yeah, Wyatt Johnson, Hyundai, they're going to bring a car out to the games, too. So they're going to park a car. We got them set up right by the gate. They're going to park a different car there each week so the kids can come by and kind of see that. Coach Conway always does a great job for us. He was complimenting the Dr. Pepper here at Varsity Pins earlier on the way over, which really hurt my feelings because I can't drink the Dr. Pepper over there.
That's true. Yeah.
And the duck pin bowling, good luck. That's hard to do. I tried to do that a couple weeks ago. It's hard to get all 10 of those down.
All right, Coach, let's jump into a little bit of the action here and talk a little bit about what's been going on. Obviously, you're out of the scrimmage season. We're officially into week 1 here. Blackman will be at home. But before we talk about Blackman, let's go back. Let's talk a little bit about the experience of playing at Vanderbilt. You get a chance to be on a turf field for that scrimmage. You're taking on one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state of Tennessee when you look at Oakland. I know we really didn't get the Vanderbilt experience because I know bus ride situation.
Yeah.
We were kind of hustling just to get in there. But talk a little bit about that atmosphere. I mean, was that the first time you've been able to coach like on a SEC field with one of your teams?
Yeah, an SEC field it has. Vanderbilt's really cool. It was down in the bowl. They had, everybody on one side, so that was kind of neat. But the field was great. The hospitality was great. They made sure that we had everything we needed. Wish we could have got there a little bit quicker, but we got there as fast as we could with the current bus situation. But I thought the kids played good. I mean, Oakland's, rated number 1 in every poll I've seen. So going out there and being physical with them from the start, I thought was a really good sign. We're still down some people with injuries, hoping we maybe get some guys back this week offensively. So we'll just kind of see how that goes and how it plays itself out over the week.
What did you think of your team against Oakland? You mentioned, as a perennial powerhouse, as a team, I thought defense came out and really did their job almost that entire first half of play. I know they gave up that late score, but it really got a lot of momentum going there in that scrimmage.
Yeah, I thought they played really good. We don't scheme for scrimmages at all. We don't watch Oakland tape at all. And Kevin does a really good job of getting a thousand different formations. So I thought our defensive staff prepared our kids good for that because we were able to react and get in some spots that we wanted to get in. So I thought that was good overall. I liked our physicality. I liked the kids' excitement to play at the beginning. And I just thought it was a good scrimmage. It was a great test for our team and our program.
Have you heard anything from any of the kids about what it was like for them to play on? Because some of those kids. We obviously have Nick now on the coaching staff who was at Tennessee for a year. We've had some guys who have gone on to go play on some of those fields. Coach, we know Coach Stanley when he was at Martin. They played against Auburn and teams like that. So they've been into those types of those situations. But for some of the kids that are current guys who may never play football again, once they get past senior year, did any of them come up to you and just man, that was really cool?
Yeah, a bunch of them did. They said it was a really cool experience being on that field and being able to remember that they played on it when they were in high school. So that was really neat. I was a little surprised how close the bleachers were to the sideline there. It was kind of like playing at we've talked about it before, but it's kind of like playing at one of the old school stadiums in town that don't have a track. It was like Central can be a really hard place to play because the bleachers are right on top of you. The old Springfield and the new Springfield stadium's the same way. So when you get that really, really close, that's hard. And then I think our stadium is it's not near as close as that was, I don't think, but it's pretty close over there too.
What's your biggest takeaway from that scrimmage? You've been able to see the past 3 weeks of being scrimmage after scrimmage. What's been kind of your takeaway from your team I guess, week to week here?
They just keep stepping up to the test that we give them. And I thought that was really good. I thought they've gotten better each week. I thought they were ready for that competition level as best you can. And it was just a positive overall, I think, scrimmage in Oakland. We'll love to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's been a lot of people who are pretty fired up to kind of see that the preseason schedule, obviously in years past it's been Gallatin in that spot, and I know Gallatin wanted something different this year, and so being able to kind of have that opportunity and you're able to do it on a Thursday was really, really awesome to kind of see that situation where you didn't have to have that, we're waiting until Friday, and then, we're also that could have been crazy in Nashville on a Friday night.
Yeah,
trying to get to Vanderbilt could have been absolutely
It would have been
miserable.
twice as bad, and it was pretty bad on Thursday. But we have to play a lot of Thursday games this year anyway because the referee shortage and fall break and some other factors. So it was kind of good to go through the week having played that on a Thursday and just kind of know it was coming.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hope and pray maybe a little bit that we get help from some of the buses when we have to make some of those trips to Nashville this year.
It's going to be tough. We're going to have to charter a couple of times. Anytime you have to go through, well, it's really anything past Vanderbilt. You pretty much have to charter just because we can't get there on time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, let's step aside here for a second. We're going to bring up this week's guest, which is one of our new faces, a new senior to the program. Hollywood is going to join us up here. We're going to get a chance to talk to him a little bit about his time being here now with Clarksville High School throughout the summer and kind of what he's expecting from being a Wildcat. So we're going to take a break here. We'll come back with Hollywood joining us in just a moment. Good, man. I'm excited to get you in here. I know Coach Shelby and I excited to have you in here. I think when Dawson mentioned you last week, we were like, all right, that'll be a good guest. We'll get to know Hollywood a little bit better, get to know you, obviously, in your first year here at Clarksville High School. You're coming in as a senior, so we're getting you for 1 year. We're fired up to have you. I mean, we're definitely excited to have you here. But I guess my first question for you is, coming in as a senior, what's the transition been like from where you were coming from to coming here to Clarksville?
Well, I'd say it's been very different from where I came from, like just the school and the coaching and stuff. It's very explosive out here, and we're going to be playing some pretty good teams, and I like how it's going so far.
Hollywood's a funny guy, for sure.
No, he definitely is. Hollywood definitely, it's one of those things where, like, sometimes, you get players who, when they're goofing around, it's like, we don't want you to goofing around, but, like, Hollywood will do his job but be goofy about it when he's doing it, and it makes you, like, kind of like, I can't really get super mad about it because, like, he's doing his job, but it's also kind of funny to do it. So it's like one of those things that, like, not many people have that ability, so you're already there. You might be a stand-up comedian one day.
He goes from serious to goofy, like back and forth in like 5 or 6 seconds. It's different.
Man.
But he's coming to us from Memphis, Shelby County, by the way, so I let him know about that.
Yeah, you gave him the history on Shelby County.
I did give him the history on Shelby. He thought I was joking with him, but we had to get on Google and show him a thing or two about Shelby Drive and stuff.
Yeah, granddad named after Shelby Drive.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it.
Yeah, so coming from Memphis, what was it like? What was the experience like in Memphis for you? Like, what was some of the teams that you faced off against? What was kind of like that style that you saw for the past couple of years playing football?
Well, in Memphis, they pretty much had, like, explosive teams, as you guys know, because y'all done played Germantown and Carterville so far. But in Memphis, everybody's explosive. They got some pretty good players. Like, you'll come up against a couple guys where you wouldn't think they were so good, but they was actually really good. Like, it's real different out there in Memphis.
It is, for sure. We've seen that in the playoffs a couple times. Those teams from Carterville and Germantown, they just got guys everywhere, super explosive. Hopefully we run into one of them again. Hopefully it's somebody Hollywood knows so we can get the inside scoop later on, maybe.
Absolutely. So, Hollywood, what do you think that you bring to Clarksville High School? Like, kind of like if you were to say, like, if Coach Shelby was like, what can you offer us as a player? We've seen you on the field, but from your own words, what do you think you bring to the team this season as your senior year coming out?
I really just think I bring leadership, accountability, just hone people to what they got to do. Because, like I said, I'm a winning player. I like to win, and I came from a winning school. So I'm gonna bring the leadership, I'm gonna bring the power, and I'm gonna bring the fight to every game.
I'll agree with that. I think he's got a little edge about him, and I was impressed, like right from the beginning. It didn't take him a long time to get to know the guys, and he certainly wasn't bashful about speaking up or challenging some of our guys that need challenge sometimes. So I think he's a big addition to the team. I like his edge, I like his personality, and he's a really good player. So we're glad to have him here. I'm glad he's not in Memphis anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to have you here for certain. Leadership is always something that, we talk about a lot as coaches, like who are really good leaders. There's so many different leadership styles and things like that. But I agree with Coach Shelby. We've seen you come in and immediately just kind of have that leadership effect on people where people kind of gravitate towards you. And it's hard to teach people because it's very hard to have people that like Coach said, you can get onto somebody, but then also make them build them up and then get on to them again without them feeling like they're like a lesser person. I think it's really cool that you're able to do that at such a young age. Like, you may not know you can do that yet, but it's something that's going to pay dividends as you go along for certain.
I also know Hollywood got put in charge of the radio before the games, so we got a little more flavor in the locker room. I heard some Dolph and Moneybag, and there's a whole bunch of new unique things going on in the locker room.
Yeah, they put me on the radio. They said I got one of the best taste in music, so I pretty much like that. I'll play a little something every now and again.
It's got Memphis flavor.
Yeah, sure. A whole bunch of Memphis flavor, man.
I'll be honest with you, very, very. You wouldn't maybe know this yet, but if you ever need a sidekick DJ, Wyatt Wooten. We found this out last year.
Yeah, Wyatt.
You may not believe it.
Wyatt does have a very eclectic playlist. You have to watch when Wyatt gets plugged into the radio sometimes. We have to just eliminate him from the radio.
Absolutely. So to kind of get back to playing football here and stuff like that, what's kind of like a goal for you? I mean, obviously there's team goals, personal goals. We'll start personal goal for you. Kind of like what do you want to see from your time at Clarksville High School?
I would really just say growth. That's really my main thing, a lot of growth, because I honestly like growing as a person and as a man and also on the field.
As a team, what have you guys, because I know obviously you've talked to people and you talked about you like to win, you want to see, the best outcome for us as a team as well. What's kind of like as a team perspective for you? What have you guys been talking about in the locker room about this season?
Team-wise, we really just been talking about how we could just keep each other head up and, really boost each other's ego up during the game and have each other backs.
Well, we've been talking a little bit about you. What has been your impression about Coach Shelby?
Oh.
That's the real question here.
You gotta throw class out. Can't throw class.
Other than his class, I love Coach Shelby, man. He's been very, very hands-on since I really got out here so far. I'm loving it. From not even just Coach Shelby. There's been plenty of coaches from defensive to offensive. The coaching different, I'd tell you that.
This guy's easy to coach too, because he doesn't. I tell you one thing about him, he doesn't. He's not one of those guys that takes correction as an offense. You know what I mean? He wants to be coached, and that's one of the main things you got to have to get better. If you don't want to be coached, you're going to be the same player all the time. So, when we got to grab him and say, hey, I don't like the way you did this, I want you to do that or whatever, he does it, he listens, he understands, and he wants to grow as a player. So I think that's really going to help him long term, is just his coachability wherever he ends up later, after Clarksville High School playing football.
Yeah, what's the coaching staff been like? You mentioned obviously some of the other coaches. I know you're working with Coach Conway a lot. You work with Coach Stanley a lot. I know you got one of the things that's really unique for the defensive side of the ball is that you get all these different coaches who have way different styles of doing things. So what's it been like to kind of learn from all these different types of personalities?
From different types of personality, I say it's very, very, very different. Coach Conway, for instance, Coach Conway doesn't smile at all. And he tell me all the time on the inside he's always jumping up and down. Coach Stanley, he might joke around a little bit, but he wants you to be serious about what you got to do every time. Coach Galbraith, also, he always get on people and what they got to do, and he's very hands-on as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Coach Conway's always calm. Like he doesn't get too fired up. That's one of the reasons I like him. He doesn't get too fired up about anything. He stays calm. He's a guy I can lean on. When things are going well to keep me in check, and when things aren't going good to kind of see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel sometimes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, Coach Conway, I know he's sitting out here, and we talked about this earlier this summer when I interviewed him, and I said, one of the things that's so different about you is that, like, we could be up by 50 and you're still calling kickoff.
Same.
Like there's never been a change.
Same.
We could be down by 50 and you're still calling kickoff return and there's no change. And he said it's because for the kids, for our players, it keeps you in a sense of like we're still in this no matter what. We have to either close this game out or we have to claw back in. And I wish I could do that. Honestly, I wish I could. I'm not that type of person. I'm one of the rah-rah guys that we have. So
I think I'm in between. I'd like to be more like Coach Conway, but I get a little excited sometimes.
All right, so what's been kind of the coolest thing about coming to Clarksville High School? What's been I know it's only been a couple weeks here. You got to go through the summer with us. You got to go through camp, kind of the abbreviated camp this year. But then also you got a chance to be a part of these first couple of scrimmages. What's been the coolest part for you?
I'd say the coolest part for me was probably playing at Vanderbilt so far because it is an SEC school, and that is one of my dreams is to play for an SEC school so far. But it was an amazing experience, I'd tell you that.
I've been telling him how much he's gonna like the game day experience at our school. That student section is gonna be like totally full. The stadium is gonna be full. Everybody, there'll be food trucks everywhere and cars from Wyatt Johnson Hyundai and just people everywhere. It's different than and I'm not speaking of Southwind, but we've played Memphis a bunch of times and it's different than like the city school Memphis vibe. I think there's times where like you get up in the stands and you can't really get out of the stands. You're gonna lose your seat or there's just a lot of people, a lot of excitement. I think the first pep rally will be neat for them, just to see the way our student body supports us. You know what I mean? Got to get there early. If you don't get there early, you're going to be standing watching around the fence, So I think it'll be really cool. I think he'll be super excited for the Blackman game once he comes out of the locker room and sees those people everywhere.
Yeah, it's a completely just fun and different atmosphere, man. I mean, and again, Coach Shelby, myself, we've played in it. We know it. We saw it years ago, and it's legitimately one of those things that hasn't changed. Probably for all the guys who are going in the Hall of Fame, you can go all the way back to the, probably 40s, 50s, 60s, and those guys would tell you the same thing. It's a completely different atmosphere.
It's been the same. It was like that when me and Bobby Slade over there, Marcus Lawrence were in high school. It's the students back us. It's really fun. Whether we're winning or we're losing, they're there every time. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hollywood, the big question, all right? You've had time to think about it. Has everybody been asking you if they can be chosen? Have there been people coming up to you saying, like, hey, pick us?
Yes, sir.
All right, who do you have? Now, Coach Shelby does have a veto power for like 3 or 4 people.
Veto power.
All right, so if you say a certain name, he might yell veto real quick, and we'll have to change it. But who do you have that you would like to see come on the show next week?
If anybody I choose, I'll probably choose my closest friend, Bryson Ellington.
I like that.
That's a good one. Yeah, Bryson, that'd be a good one. His brother played for us too. He's a long time Clarksville High guy. All of his cousins and the Dowlins and he's probably got more Clarksville High ties than anybody on the team.
Yeah, I agree. Hollywood, man, we appreciate your time, brother. We thank you so much for coming up here and joining us and being a part of this experience. You're only the 3rd ever player to be on the show. So we started it this year. So, man, you've already made that big of an impact that the seniors were like, hey, we want Hollywood on here. So, man, that speaks testimony about who you are as a person. So keep doing what you're doing, man, and keep being a good leader. Keep being that kind of like catalyst for us, man. We love that.
All right, thank you.
Shelby Drive, look alive.
Yes, sir.
Get on Google.
All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, Coach Shelby and I will finish things up talking a little bit about the upcoming game on Friday. And welcome back to the Isaac Shelby Coaches Show. Coach Shelby and I are talking now. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about the upcoming game. There's a lot going on this week, and you mentioned, of course, Marcus Lawrence here, Bobby Slate here, and that's a big part of it is because this Friday, the tradition is now in its third year of picking a Hall of Fame team. And this year, there's a couple of individual guys from the team, but also your entire 2000-2001 team is going into the Hall of Fame. It's super cool for you guys, obviously, to have that and be able to say, like, hey, we're going to the Hall of Fame. But talk about the importance of establishing this Hall of Fame more than anything.
It's kind of, I was talking to Ben Moore about it. It was something that we had talked about a few years ago, but it was kind of shocking that it already hasn't been done, for a school that's 100 years old or 119 years old. So it's really a long time coming for a lot of the people that are going in it. There's been some great athletes and great people come through this program, and it's a really cool chance to get to see some of those guys honored. That some of them we played with, some of them we coached. It's just a really, really cool thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I get to do, and something that I think you've tasked me with, but also Ben Moore asked me to do, was doing the write-ups. And I am a somewhat of a history guy.
You are.
And I do love, and the thing is, I love Clarksville High School. I mean, there's a reason why I'm back here. There's a reason why, when you asked me to come back and be a part of this, I said, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to do it. And a lot of it, like getting to write these bios, man, it's just so fun to go back and look at these guys and be like, yeah, that's why you're a Hall of Famer. That makes total sense. But one of the cool things that I, was sitting back there and, obviously I would have been in fourth grade when that 2000 team was doing their thing. And I just remember writing that kind of bio about it. People don't realize that 2000s team, you guys were the catalyst to where we are now.
Yeah, I think a lot of the credit is go to Bob Ateka, Jim Snyder, and the other coaches that were part of that group. But I only played there. I only played here obviously 1 year, my senior year. And I've heard Marcus and some of the other guys talk about how when they very first started, they weren't super successful in high school, and then they kind of built it up there until we hit that magical 2000 season. And I think that was kind of a recipe of really good coaches. We had a couple of great athletes on that team, but we probably had more guys on that team that were just really hard workers, that were kind of role players and did what they were supposed to do and gave it their all for our school, to make that thing really successful, combined with some great athletes like Mario and Chris and some of those guys. So but I do think that without that team, without that 10-win season, there would be no Fieldhouse. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
That was the catalyst that got everybody back together, kind of brought the older regime back to what we were doing. So I think you can credit that Fieldhouse to the 2000 team for sure.
Yeah, and I was looking at it because, obviously going back, and I know Coach Lathan's going in as well.
Well deserved.
1978, 1981, and 1987, he had playoff teams.
Yeah.
And then 93, there was one playoff run, but then after that, it was cold until 2000. And then really, we've at two times since we've gone into the new century here, the new millennium, we've had two times we've been on 8 consecutive year playoff streaks.
Yeah, it did go a little bit dry there for a while, and then once that 2000 team got it started, I think it raised the bar for the program, and then the teams after that continued to raise it in their own right after that. So I think it was a critical time in Clarksville High history to get that thing rolling, and I think that you got to give credit to that senior group, excluding myself, the guys that were 4-year seniors on that group that were part of the program, building it from where it was to where it ended. I think those guys like Marcus and Bobby and Jared Bolton and Jim Foster and guys I'm leaving out, but those guys just come to the top of my head. But that was the group that has propelled us to where we are now. And I think the kids now, they don't understand it because it was 25 years ago, but they're standing on those men's shoulders now, representing our program.
And what I love about that, you're mentioning Marcus, who obviously is going into the Hall of Fame this year as well. But one of the biggest things that and I know he's sitting over there and he does not like us talking about him at all.
I can see it in his face.
One of the things that I love the most about you, Marcus, and I want you to know this, is the fact that he has given so much to Clarksville High School. He came over, he started in the junior pros. He raised up a lot of those young guys. When I posted Marcus on social media this week, he was the first person I posted, and it just automatically blew up because of how many lives he's touched.
Yeah. And
then when I was writing his bio and getting to see what he did, and hearing his stories about having a face off against John Henderson and people like that, you're sitting there and you're man, you totally deserve this. And so I'm so happy that it's one of those things where the kids all love Marcus, and they've been able to be so excited for him as well, and just for him to be able to continue and to kind of come into it with your coaching staff of guys who love Clarksville High School.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that when these kids leave here, they understand why we're the way we are when it comes to representing CHS.
Yeah, Marcus, he's a guy that's always doing it for the right reasons. He's doing it for the kids. He started in the junior leagues, and it kind of worked his way up, and now he's a valuable member of our staff. But he just loves football. He loves kids. He loves interacting with them. There's a lot of times where I'm having trouble with a particular kid getting through to him, and I'll call Marcus and be like, Marcus, please call this kid, and kind of be the buffer right here, because I might say it in a little more direct way than it needs to be said sometimes. And Marcus will call him up, and he's just got a way with him, and you can't teach that. It's just something that's in people. He's got a way with kids, and he get them to understand what they need to understand. It's a special thing about him,
The only thing, Marcus, that I've had to do since you've taken over, when you were at Richview, you started a dynasty, and then I had to kind of pull those kids back to earth when they became freshmen. But other than that, everything's been great. You got them trained up the right way.
For sure, yeah.
We had to get Justin and Marcus, who are both Hall of Fame guys this year. They built this dynasty with these kids who were ready to run through a brick wall, and then we have to remind them, hey, you're freshmen.
Yeah.
You're going to be going up against 18-year-olds. You might need to slow down a little bit.
Those guys had a lot of ambition and spice to them when they got there after winning all the Richview championships.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we got Blackman this week. Let's talk a little bit about the upcoming opponent. What have you seen from Blackman this week that you're looking at on the film and saying, man, this is what we got to be prepared for?
It's a really talented group. They're deep. They're well coached by Matt Kreisky and his staff. I think Coach Crosby's over there now. He does a really good job with the defense. There's not a weak point to them. They're coached up well. They do what they're supposed to do. The quarterback's incredible. I think the defensive line's really, really good. The linebackers are good. The whole defense is full of good athletes and good players. It's gonna take a lot from us to stay in this game and have a chance to win it at the end, I think.
What's been the conversation kind of with your players? Because we've talked about this the past couple of years. We've started off, the last opener that we've lost at this point now in the regular season would have been with Davin that senior year against McGavick. That was kind of a game where we were in that game and a couple bad snaps away from actually winning it. And we went on a run late that season, but for you guys, what are you telling these guys? Because it's not going to be the normal challenge that we've had week one for the past couple seasons.
Yeah, it's a super quality opponent. They're going to come in here ready to play. They're a Murfreesboro school. Murfreesboro's got a lot of pride in their football. I sent that thing to you yesterday. I went and talked to some people. I think Clarksville played Murfreesboro High in 1946, which was Murfreesboro, which is now I think Murfreesboro Central Magnet, and I think it burned down in 1950 and then split into Riverdale and Oakland, and then they came back. So there is some history between the two programs, but it's not of recent history, But they're a great team. They're in the top 10. If you want to be in the top 10, you can play top 10 teams and see what happens. Whether we win the game, lose the game, hopefully we'll grow from this experience, because we've said all along it's the only thing that matters is how well you play in week 11. So we've got to grow regardless of what happens, and get to playing our best football in week 11.
Absolutely, Coach. Again, one of the big things I kind of look at is how our team responds, and I think that we've been able to the first 2 days you mentioned it just kind of had some some random days where we're having to do maybe some more like weirdo things than what we're used to. But, when it comes down to that, I mean, like you've had some days where you had, the team split up and there's some are doing this, some are doing that.
Yeah.
Again, we got to go outside today, so it was a little bit different of an ordeal because you actually could kind of get through practice. I guess, when you're looking at a week like that, is it more of like the mental notes for everybody to kind of take in that situation?
I mean, everyone knows how much I like structure, and this week we've had absolutely no structure whatsoever. So we're just coming in the field house, checking the temperature every day to see if we can go out or what we got to do. So, but I thought the coaching staff has done well. I obviously got into the wrestling room the other day, and I think that's helped our tackling quite a bit. So, or we'll see if it has. But got in there, got to mix it up a little bit, change some things up on the kids. But we haven't had the typical structured practice that we've had in the past. Usually this week hasn't been that bad. It's usually been the Springfield week that we've had the biggest issues heat-wise in the past 3 or 4 years. So, hopefully it's just this week and we can get through it and then, get back to normal after that.
Coach, it's going to be the first home game. You get a chance to have, these Hall of Famers come out. You're going to see maybe some older faces maybe you haven't seen in a while, some of the families that you're not going to see or you haven't seen for a while. What's kind of the message to the Clarksville High faithful that are coming out on Friday? Come
out, be there early. Everyone's really excited about the Hall of Fame. My wife helps out with that. She does a great job putting on that ceremony in the breezeway. So Mr. Moore will talk about each person. I did make sure he's on a time limit, so we're not going to have be 10 minutes late or anything. So he's going to get those guys out for us at 6:35 to be on the field, to be recognized, those guys and their families. So and they're guys that you played with and I coached and I played with and stuff like that. So excited to see them, excited for them to be honored on the field like they should be. They'll be out there at 6:35. They'll be honored during the time we leave we'll go off the field at 6:30. They'll come on at 6:35, and then when they go off, we'll be coming back on from the locker room.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I want to thank you so much for your time. As always, I appreciate you coming out. And again, a big shout-out to Varsity Pins, who's letting us actually be in this building and getting a chance to use their bus and their speaker system, all that good stuff, so we can get a chance to, kind of take this to new heights when we get a chance with this podcast. So big shout-out to Varsity Pins. Again, a big shout-out to Sheepdog Custom Ink. Everything they do for us. I mean, you're wearing a shirt that I designed a couple years ago for this podcast. So I texted to Coach Conway. We'll figure out if we can get some sort of cool giveaway for when people come. We might have some trivia questions or things like that we can ask them. I think it'd be really cool that we can give out in person so we can get some more people into the crowd. You had a thought, I could tell.
I did have a thought. This whole thing is pretty neat. Obviously, I don't think it could be done without Coach Conway and Sheepdog. Him being able to help our staff with the things we need is incredible. He does much more than people think. So it's important that people recognize that. And if you're a coach in town or if you're not in town, you listen to this podcast, highly recommend that company. I think they're fantastic. And I think when you start working with them, you'll really see, what kind of valuable stuff that you get in terms of customer service, in terms of, just the quality of product that you get.
Absolutely. And of course, Wyatt Johnson Hyundai, you mentioned it, they'll be at the home game on this Friday. They'll have a car out there. So kids, if you're walking by the car and mom and dad are with you and you're at that age where you'd be like, hey, Mom.
I don't know what they're bringing out, but they're getting the spot right next to the fence. So when you walk in, the concessions will be to your right, and then Hyundai will be to your left. So when you go over there and visit those Wyatt Johnson people, consider Wyatt Johnson Hyundai if you're buying a car in town, and talk to them, check them out. I'm sure they'll have their information out there ready to go.
Absolutely. And, of course, next week we're going to try this. And Mr. Greg, of course, we want to thank Middle Tennessee Youth Sports, does the podcast, the live stream for us on the podcast. He mentioned, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier, the chance we're going to open up the comments. And if you have a good question at the end, we'll open up an opportunity maybe for some questions to be asked during the podcast. So if you're asking a nice question, we'll ask it. If it's something that I know Coach Shelby will want to answer, I'll ask that question. So keep it keep it smart with your questions. Maybe
do have veto power on the questions.
Absolutely.
As well.
Sopranos questions are always welcome for certain. So we know that much.
I do like
of course.
Sopranos.
So again, we want to thank Coach Shelby for his time, and thank all of you who are watching on the live stream, everybody who listens in on the podcast. When we post it, we couldn't do this without y'all, and we want to thank you guys so much. Every time you like and share and repost it, man, we appreciate that so much. But again, we have a game on Friday night. It's the Hall of Fame game. It'll be 7 o'clock kickoff from Clarksville High School, Hilda J. Richardson Field. We hope that you're there for the Wildcats as they open up Team 119 season, the 2025 season, against the Blackman Blaze. Again, thank you so much for listening, and that we hope you join us again next time. And as always,
tickets on GoFan, go Cats.
Go Cats. Thank you so much for listening.